Right folks, and welcome back to the channel. It's Richard from Locknor Smithy Off Grid. Now, a question I keep getting asked, it's quite a common question. If you go on some of the other videos I've done, especially the one about static caravan planning, the one about permitted development rights for agricultural buildings, people keep asking me, why should I buy my own land? Why not rent? Should I buy my own land? Mainly by people that are looking at starting a smallhold and starting a small farm, buying a bit of land, you know, building buildings, getting a static caravan. They want to live off-grid, they want to live on the land, save rent. Now, people keep asking, why should I buy my own land, or should I buy my own land? You know, what's the reasons? Now, the obvious reason really would be, if you're looking at renting a small bit of land off a farmer, so you're going to go and rent a bit of agricultural land at an agricultural rent, and then you're going to build sheds on that land, put a static caravan on, maybe after 10 years get a certificate of lawfulness, so that there's then a dwelling on that land. The main thing is, you're improving that land for somebody else, you're adding value. You're adding value with no agreement, unless you're doing something like a rent to buy, where you're paying rent for 10 years and you're purchasing at a later date, or you've locked in on a lease option. Now, there's other videos out there. If you're thinking of renting, or the only way forward is that you need to rent to maybe start your small holding, or you know, you need to rent to start a market garden, you probably ought to look at lease options, rent to buy. I've seen some people come unstuck with these, but that's really another subject. I'll probably cover that in a few weeks. But we own this place here. I really wouldn't advise anybody putting quite a few buildings up, or even, you know, putting their money and their life for 10 years into a rented place, to potentially at the end of it, the landowner turn around and say, well, thanks, you've built me some sheds, you've put a static caravan on, you've got me a certificate of lawfulness, I'm now going to sell this for 200 grand, when it was only probably worth 15 grand when you started. So, yeah, you know, I understand some people, the only way they can get started in life is to rent. But really, you know, even if you only buy a small parcel of land and rent the rest, the bit where you're going to build your homestead, your yard, you know, build your sheds, even if it's only polytunnels, in all honesty, I'd try and beg and borrow. I'd try and, you know, get ownership of that land before I start building. So, yeah, so basically somebody turned up there and started doing something weird in our track, so I had to go up and ask them what they were doing. So basically, you know, my mindset has always been that you should own your own property. You know, you shouldn't spend money on fancy cars, flash goods, assets that depreciate. I was always taught and brought up that you only borrow money against assets that appreciate, so you only borrow money against something that's going to go up in value. So if you're going to borrow money, buy a house, buy land, buy a business, buy something that's going to produce your money, save your money on rent, and something that's going to go up in value. I was brought up not to go and like lease and rent flash fancy cars. You know, I've got a decent motor, but in all, people have seen it in the videos, but it's 15 years old. I've had it for a long time. You know, there's no money borrowed on it. Everything I own here, you know, like that dumper's 40 years old, does exactly the same as one that would be brand new. You know, a new one's probably 25 grand now, and that was 650 quid. So, you know, we don't waste money renting, leasing, financing expensive flashy goods. All of our money has gone into land, property, buildings, infrastructure, stuff that's going to increase the value of our holding, make us more productive, you know, make us money. So, you know, I've spent money on sheds here, but it's all for the future. You know, we spent quite a few years affording to do what we're doing, and you know, it's not easy, but you know, if you're looking at buying a bit of land to start a small holding, you know, go and get a bank loan, get credit cards, you know, No shame in skinting yourself to buy something that's a true asset, and if it doesn't work out, you can sell it, you know. But that's my opinion on the subject. I know there's people out there that are, you know, renting bits of land, putting polytunnels on, making a small holding, but at the end of the day you don't own it, you know, so you're increasing the value for somebody else, and it's a bit like working for somebody else, you know. And if you're going down this route of creating a small holding, a homestead, you know, your mindset's going to be that you're not looking to work for an employer anymore. You're going to work for yourself, be self-sufficient, and make your own money and make your own life. So in my opinion, you shouldn't be renting. I understand you might have to, but you know, like I said earlier in the video, if the only way you can do it is to rent, and you found something you can rent, you should really be trying to lock yourself in on a lease option, you know, a rent to buy agreement where you pay a deposit. You know, you maybe pay 20% of the value up front, so you are locked in through a legal agreement with a solicitor, and then you're paying rent for a number of years until you've got your business up and running, and you can raise that finance one way or another, or maybe you're intending on selling your house in a few years' time, you know. But that's my opinion on the subject. So that's answering questions people have asked about should I rent, should I buy, what should I do. If you could please give the video a thumbs up. If you could please drop a comment with any more questions. If you ask questions, I'll try and do a video on it. And if you can please subscribe to the YouTube channel and ring that little bell. And again, Bob wants to be in the video, don't you, Bob? So we'll say bye for now, and that's the end of the video, and we'll see you next time.